everyone, welcome back. What I am going to show you now is how to edit certain shapes and add audio and add movement to them, and just how to get a little more in-depth with certain features of your Smart Notebook. First, what we're going to do is we are going to create a shape. So let's just start with a standard heart. In order to edit this, I need to make sure I make my shape and then I go back to my select tool. This is the only way you will be able to click on a shape and edit it from there. So let's go ahead. If you click on the shape and you click on the little down arrow box, this gives you all the options that you can do with this shape. The first one that pops up is clone. This means that you can make a copy without having to hit copy and paste of the exact same shape, color, size, all that good stuff, and move it where you need it. This can be a very useful tool and save you some time when you're making your own lesson. The next item on your drop-down bar is there's your original cut, copy, paste, and delete. I'm sure we are all pretty familiar with those, so we're going to move on to locking. Locking allows you to lock a certain shape in place, so that way if you design something for the kids to use on the smartboard, but it is not an item or an object that you want moved, you can lock it in place. So let's say I locked this heart in place. No matter what I do, I cannot move that heart. This keeps kids from editing and deleting and doing things that you might not want them to do. In order to undo that locking, you click on the little lock right here, and then just go back to unlock. And this allows you full editing rights. The next option under locking is allow move. This allows you to move the object anywhere you want, but you cannot edit it. This is especially handy if you are creating a fill in the blank or something where the kids are moving objects to build them, but you don't want them to accidentally double click on the smartboard and edit the object. So this one you can just move around but not edit. The last one is move and rotate. So just as allowing move, you can move it, but if you need the option for them to be able to turn the object, then that is what that button does. They just click on the little green and they drag their finger around to wherever you want the object to go. So that is our allow, move, and rotate. If you lock the object, you will not have any other options from the drop-down bar. In order to get all your options back, you have to go back and click unlock. Now you have your drop-down box available to you. Next up is flip. You can flip your shape from left to right, up and down, like so. So whichever way you want your shape to be, that is what that button does. Order, right here, is if I had another shape like this, but I want this one that is behind it to come to the front. I'm going to click on order and I'm going to say bring to front, and that puts it in front of the other object. So this is if you're stacking something or you're hiding something. Let's say I wrote a word heart and I wanted it covered up by the heart. So if you're doing sight words or certain vocabulary, then I would click on that heart, order, bring to front, and then that way it covers up what is behind it, and in order to read what's behind it, I just have to move the object. One button we did not get to was the grouping. If I click on one object and I hold down my control button on my keyboard and I get a different object, from here, if I have both objects selected, I can group. This allows those two objects to become one, and from there I can lock in place or allow certain movements, etc., etc. The next button on here was your infinite cloner. The infinite cloner is like a clone, but this one allows you to, no matter how many times you click on this and drag it, it will create an infinite amount of shapes. like so. This is really helpful, especially if you're studying coins and adding money and you have pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters down at the bottom, and you want the kids to create different amounts. They can just drag and place, and there will always be more coins for them to use. In order to get rid of the infinite cloner, you'll see a little sign right there. You just click on it, click the checkbox, and it goes back to being a normal shape. The next option is for you to put a link to your shape on here. This allows you to link to a web page if you wanted to show a video. So let's say from this heart I wanted to go to abc.com. I would type my address in, or you can copy and paste it from the internet. And then it has this little heart right there, or this little planet right there. I click on the planet and it will take me to the website that I linked it to. So that is pretty useful. You can also create links to a different page within the file or a file on your computer. This saves you a lot of time as a teacher, so you do not have to go searching for certain files or certain pages that you want to visit during your lesson. The next object is, or the next line is sound. You can add sound to any object that you want in your Smart Notebook. If you have a sound on your computer, then you can browse. Like if you downloaded a certain song, like a shape song or a counting song, you can download it to your computer, and then you can attach it, which would give you this little gray icon right here to the computer. You click on it and it'll start playing. Click on it and it stops. So that is also very helpful when creating your lesson. The last one on here was properties. From this one, you can change different types of filling, different fill effects, different line styles. You can also animate your object. If you want it to fly in, say you click on it, or you want it to fly out. When you click on it, you can choose what type of animation you want. You can choose where you want it to go from, what speed, and when does it occur? When the object is clicked, or when your page is entered. And then if you want it to repeat over and over and over, or 1 or 2 times, you're going to kind of just have to get in here and mess with it and see what works for you. So for example, we'll say when this object is clicked, then that is when my animation is going to begin. So if I go to my full screen, which you can't quite see my object because right now it is, I will get out of that. Highlight my object. Oops, I clicked on that. See? It can get a little tricky in Smart Notebook if you do not click exactly on the object or exactly where you are wanting to, then it can get a little bit messed up. So we're just going to go back and do the undo button. That way it will change what I am looking for, and then I can add my fill to my object. So we're going to pause for just a moment. Okay, we are back. So if we're clicking on our object like so, and you're going to do your animation, just make sure that you choose your animation, but you don't click on it at the time, because then it's going to go away and you're not going to be able to see it anymore. So you're just going to kind of, like I said, mess around with it and see what works best for you. So those are some of the different options that you have when clicking on an object and adding different animations, colors, line styles, and all that good stuff. So I will see you soon.